So today's topic is going to be really fun. I love this topic. I haven't always loved this topic. So I'm going to be honest with you today. Summer clothes shopping has not been my favorite. I will say that because it's not really fun. Your body, not only just changed in midlife, but trends are moving at like lightning speed, and it's hard to keep up with them. And then now everything that used to work just feels totally off, right? And then when you add heat from the summer on top of all of that, you can't exactly cover up all those areas that you want to hide with a cute jacket. And so it's hot. Your feet might be swelling, and the stuff that looked cute on you in your 20s and your 30s suddenly feels really clingy and uncomfortable, and it might make you feel self conscious, especially in the summer when we're sweating. So I get it, it's totally overwhelming. And so that's why I want to talk about it today because I have learned a few little tips and tricks that I want to share with you. I truly believe that you can feel good in your clothes again, and you don't need a whole new wardrobe. I'm a minimalist, so like my closet's about this big, right? But you do need a few little simple swaps and things, a couple of to-go outfits that are just ready to go anytime that you need one. And so, I want to give you permission today to dress for how you want to feel. You can feel excited about your day and about your clothes all over again. Okay. So before we even talk about clothes or style and what looks good, I want you to ask yourself kind of a deeper question because I want to get into like a point of view here. But I want you every morning when you're in your closet and you're looking at your clothes, I want you to ask yourself, like, what is it that I'm going to do today? How do I want to feel? And who do I want to be? Right? We carry a lot of titles, right? Mom, grandmom, spouse, all the things. Who do you want to be for that day? And so, listen, your feelings, we know this through the life coaching world. If you've been in this world at all, we know that your feelings drive your actions. And so, every single day when you get up, your feelings are going to drive how you behave and act that day. And so, the way you actually get dressed can either support that, the life that you want to live, or it can totally fight it, right? So I'll give you an example. Like on days when I'm out hanging out with my 15-month-old grandson, got to spend time with him yesterday. You know, maybe we're going to be playing outside and getting sweaty and dirty or running errands. And so I'm not going to be dressing to impress. I'm not trying to keep anything clean. I'm just dressing for fun and presence. That means I'm going to have my comfy, easy, junky, I don't care if he wipes his nose on me kind of clothes, right? And so, and you know what? I don't feel self conscious when I'm out and about running errands with him because I already decided who I want to be that day and how I want to show up, right? I'm showing up and choosing to be that hands on, present Mimi. That's what I want him to call me. And so that's the priority. That's my focus. And so I make my clothes match that. Now, if I'm heading to an art show with my husband, because that's what he does, and we're at an art festival, that's a completely different strategy. And I'm trying to show up in a completely different manner. I want to be a little more professional, put together, but I also, in the summertime, need to stay cool, right? So I choose something that's a little looser, flowy, breathable, right? And so that stuff, I'm going to be intentional with how I look, but I don't want to be melting by noon. And so it's not about dressing to impress, it's about dressing to support the version of you that you need to be that day. And so let's go ahead and start there. Asking yourself every morning when you're looking at your clothes, like, what are you doing today? How do you want to feel in your body, your energy, or in your life, right? And who are you being today? And so when you answered those questions first, like getting dressed actually becomes a whole lot easier and a whole lot more enjoyable because you're not sitting there staring at it going, I have nothing to wear. You're thinking through a different filter. All right, so let's get into some outfit ideas. This is the fun part, right? This is about getting dressed this summer and making it so much easier. Okay, or at least I hope it will. Because, some of the stuff we've held on to since our 20s and 30s, it's not cutting it anymore, right? Not because we've let ourselves go, but because our lives and our bodies and our priorities have completely changed. We may have a different job, we may have littles that we're taking care of, or we may be in a position where we've taken care of all of our littles and we're ready to get out there and do something, right? So instead of feeling bad about what doesn't work, let's go ahead and swap that out for what does. All right. So, and instead of forcing our bodies to fit into clothes, let's just find clothes that fit our life. And the best part, these swaps that I'm about to share with you, they can work for any body type. You just need to make a few little tweaks. And so I will make sure to point those out as we go. All right. So, jean shorts. Let's swap those for skirts. And, jean shorts, have always been my go-to. I'm a beach girl, and I still have a couple of pairs. So I'm not saying I'm not ever going to wear them. But let's be real. When it's hot and it's sticky, they ride up, they may chafe, and I end up totally having to adjust them all day. So I love being team skirt. Okay. And here's why. Like, they're breezy, they have those built-in shorts, so I'm not worried about rubbing or chafing or even flashing anybody when I go to sit down, and I actually feel cute in them. They're a little bit more elevated, and I tend to look for more of an A-line style so that they kind of float away from my body, let me have a little bit more breathability. It's still casual and I can dress it down, but I also can totally dress it up if I want to. So here's a few little tweaks that can be made based on your body type. If you are apple shape, choose a high waisted skirt with like a wide waistband and a flat front, right? Go ahead and skip the pleats or the gathers, and that's going to be really comfortable and it won't be cinching in on your waist. For pear shaped, stick with lighter colors on the top and darkers on the bottom. And feel free to keep the bottom simple but just make sure that it's a little bit darker than your top. For rectangle shape, you want to go for a skirt that has a slight flare. The pleats and the gathers here will look really good. Maybe look for something that can be belted or a shirt tucked in the top, so that you can kind of create a visual for the waist. And then hourglass figures, choose a skirt that like flows natural on your waist and hits mid thigh to keep those curves balanced and flattered. All right, so the next swap. Let's go ahead and swap those like bodycon tight dresses or those tent style dresses for a wrap dress. And so sundresses, this is kind of like a staple in the summer, right? You always need one or two to just show up to anything. And so the reason why you want to avoid those clingy bodycon styles is because when you start sweating, they show up a lot easier. There's no chance for air to get in and dry things out. And then they're going to hug every curve. They're going to point out every area that you're trying to hide. They're great if you know you're going to be indoors in the air conditioning, right? But then those shapeless tent maxi style dresses, they're not really doing us any favors either because they're hiding and basically making you completely shapeless. And so the goal here is to give yourself shape without the constriction, right? So that's where a wrap dress comes into play because you can find so many styles that have that looser, flowier skirt. And so you're able to hold that structure, look like you're being intentional, but also have that airflow. It defines that waist. And what's lovely about wrap dresses is they kind of elongate your neck and make you look taller. And so you get to be comfortable, especially if you can get like a t-shirty material. It can feel like you're wearing your pajamas. Let's go ahead and talk about the body type tweaks. Okay, so if you are full busted, you're going to want to look for one that's like got a more secure neckline with full coverage just to kind of support the ladies. So, petite, go for shorter lengths and avoid too much volume in the skirt because that can make you look a little shorter. People who have inverted triangle, that's where you have the wider shoulders. Look for styles that kind of flare slightly at the bottom to kind of balance out your broader shoulders. And then pear shape, choose a wrap dress that kind of ties in at the smallest part of your waist and then floats away at your hips. So what's really great about a wrap dress is they come in so many varieties, but you can feel like you've got shape, right? You can breathe, you can move without needing Spanx and sweating through your dress. And so I do love a good wrap dress. All right, the next swap. Let's talk about tops. So you want to kind of swap out those tight cap sleeve tops or ribbed tanks. Those are very common in the summertime for a V-neck tee. And so cap sleeves, they often hit at the widest part of your arm and restrict from where you're sweating. So they end up kind of giving you some big sweat spots. And then ribbed tanks, they kind of cling, and I have a lot of them because I do love them when I'm working out in the garden and nobody can see me, but rib tanks, they kind of cling and pull and stretch, kind of all in the wrong places. So if you're feeling sensitive about your arms or about your body, you don't really want to gravitate towards those styles. And so that's where the V-neck comes in. And again, they come in all kinds of different varieties. And so you get what looks like an intentional structure that doesn't cling or cut off your arm in a particular way. And so it's going to, when it gives you that elongated neck, it kind of gives you a more lifted and refreshed look, even without you trying, right? And you don't have to show off a lot of skin. Another type of shirt that you can swap out for those other ones is like a flutter sleeve or a dolman sleeve style shirt. They're really good options because they let things flow. They're often made of materials that are a little bit more airy. They provide that arm coverage without too much bulk or anything that's clingy. And so here's a couple of tweaks for different body types. If you're broad shoulder, choose sleeves that slope downward instead of puffing out, right? And for people who are full busted, that deeper V, kind of like the style I'm wearing, it doesn't have to show off anything, but it actually draws the eye in a way that balances out how large the bust is. And so it can provide coverage even though you're showing a little bit more. All right. If you're short torsoed, a V-neck visually lengthens that upper body. It kind of gives a lot of space between the chin and chest. And so those actually make you look a lot taller. And then rectangle shaped, look for tops that have a bit more structure, that might be a little more fitted to kind of provide what it would appear as a waist, maybe front tuck that shirt to define that extra shape. Okay. But I want you to remember that these swaps don't need to be expensive or even trendy if you don't want to. I tend to stay in solid colors and classic because you're not really dressing for Instagram, you're dressing for you. These swaps are about feeling better in your body and in your clothes without needing like this total closet overhaul. Now that we've got some of these easy swaps in place, and let's talk about how to shop because I used to hate shopping because I didn't even know what to do with it. I felt like nothing looked good on me. So I know the word shopping can totally make some people cringe inside, and I totally get it. But for so many midlife women, shopping is exhausting, right? Your body's changed, sizing's not usually consistent, and half the stuff in the stores feel like it's made for teenagers or grandmas, but nothing in between. And so let's, learn how to shop with a plan. I call this my anti-dread shopping list, right? Because it's not about buying a ton of clothes. I don't want to take a lot of time when I go into the store. I want to go in, I want to be out. But it's about finding just a few go-to pieces that are going to make you feel like you can dress up with it or dress down with it and still be really easy and comfortable. And so here's what I want to say. Start with 2 to 3 anchor pieces for summer, right? These are your foundation items, the ones that you can mix and match, build outfits all season long with them. And so the first one of the anchor pieces is a go-to sundress. So you want to pick something that you can feel good in without having to wear shapewear. Pick something that's a little flowy, lightweight, easy to dress up or down, but you're going to have some airflow, right? And then think things like this is going to be good for the variety of activities that you might do, all the way from errands and church or just walking around and feeling pretty at home. Okay. All right. The second anchor piece I want you to think about is just a comfy outfit for regular everyday stuff. This could be your skirt and top combo, um, or flowy wide leg pants, or a romper that just fits really well. But I want you to feel relaxed in this outfit, but still put together. Think, of things like picnics and cookouts, running around with your grandkids, anything like that. And then the last thing is I want you as an anchor piece to think about a statement top. It's something that makes a basic outfit feel really styled without any effort. And so this can be something like a kimono, a button-up linen shirt, that flutter sleeve or dolman blouse that we talked about and you feel amazing in. And here's the really fun part is even though you have only a few anchor pieces, there's so many ways to bring variety to the outfit and not look like you're wearing the same thing over and over again. And jewelry and accessories, it does a lot of the heavy lifting for that. So here's the cool part. Jewelry always fits, right? When your clothes are simple, you can use your earrings, a fun necklace, a colorful bag, to add just the drama of where you're trying to go. If you're trying to dress it up or you're trying to be casual, that bold earring, it allows a sundress to take on a whole new look, right? So like I'm wearing right now just a regular t-shirt, tank top, right? V-neck. But if I didn't have this necklace on, it would look really plain. But I wore dramatic earrings with a big chunky necklace. And so now it looks like it's been elevated. But if I were to take that all off and I wore it with jean shorts, it would look really comfy. It'd be a perfect outfit for me to go hang out with my grandson too. So also think about what type of shoes you're going to wear for the outfit. So like, of course, if you want to wear really nice sandals, that's going to dress something up a little bit. Or if you want to dress it down and look like you're just being casual for the today, you can put on sneakers. Okay. So it takes on, again, a whole new energy for that outfit. So accessories are going to kind of help you be creative without needing like a whole new wardrobe. And let me tell you something, there's not as much emotion tied to your accessories. So this is the easy part, right? And let's talk about shoes real quick in the summertime. I want you to remember that comfort really matters, right? So in the summer, a lot of us are going to have swelling feet or sticky feet, especially when you're spending long days outside. So if you know that you're going to be out walking or standing a lot, plan ahead. I personally like to size up my shoes for the summertime, and it makes a huge difference because I know that my feet are going to swell up at least a half size, if not a full size more. And so look for shoes with soft straps, breathable fabrics, and adjustable closures. So if you need to take the closure out a little bit, you can. And the other thing about summer is just make sure with your shoes that you will break them in at home first. Definitely being out in the heat is not a good time to break in a pair of shoes, right? So that is it for today's live stream. If you want to take what we talked about today and make it for your own life, go grab that free summer fashion workbook. It's waiting for you inside the Facebook group. It'll help you kind of clarify how you want to feel, what you actually need in your wardrobe, and how to get dressed without all that dread in the morning. And if you want some one-on-one help with your summer style, reach out to me by email at Michelle Day Rose. This is honestly one of my favorite things to do and help people with because I really believe that your wardrobe is an art form. It's a statement of who you are on the inside, and I'd love to help you create that style that reflects your spirit and the season that you're in. And then don't forget, Saturday morning PJ parties coming up on August 2nd at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is a celebration of 1 year of live streams here at Making Life Beautiful again. We're going to hang out, talk summer skincare, fashion too, whatever you want to talk about. So bring your questions and come hang out. And then next week, we're going to be wrapping up our summer series with something we all kind of struggle with, and that's how to fit fitness in the summer when it's hot and when we're ultra busy. So this is going to help you figure out easy ways to stay active, feel strong, take care of your body without taking over all of your summer plans. You don't want to miss it. So I'll see you soon.